says setting up your meeting. I believe we are live.
Hello there.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our YouTube stream of the Captain's Quarters podcast. We're going to get started in just a moment.
Boop, boop.
Just have to check a setting or two here. Okay, I'm ready. Jason, are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, let's do this.
Venga, vamos. Come on. Oh, no.
Okay. I was getting, because it's delayed, the YouTube feed is delayed. I was getting like an echo of me talking 30 seconds ago.
I see. Interesting. Fascinating.
By the way, I can edit this part out later.
Okay.
Within YouTube. YouTube has an editor. I can edit it out,
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Anyway, okay. Here we go.
Technology these days. Amazing.
Hello, my fellow nerds, and welcome to the Captain's Quarters, the unofficial Star Trek rewatch podcast, where we are rewatching the entire Star Trek chronology, starting at the beginning of the timeline. And today we're talking about Star Trek Discovery, Season 1, Episode 2, and it is called Battle at the Binaries. My name is Gabe.
Battle at the Binary Stars. Sorry to interrupt, but...
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. Battle at the Binary Stars.
Yeah.
My name's Gabe. I'm with my co-captain, Jason. Make it so, Jason.
Hello there, everybody. How are you, buddy?
I'm okay. I'm excited that we're getting into Discovery. Jason and I spent 3 years talking about Star Trek Enterprise, going through all 4 seasons. And I thought it would be wise to review some of the Klingon lore that's being established.
Okay, yeah, we can absolutely do that for sure.
I'm getting the feeling that we're not going to be totally episodic in this show.
Yeah.
And I feel like if we don't like really nail down this Klingon stuff early, we're going to be lost.
Yeah, the only hesitancy I have is that some of it is new and not what I would call canonical. I could be wrong, but that's why I hesitate a little bit, because there's some stuff that you're like, that as a fan you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, but then there are other stuff that I'm like, is that true? And maybe my skepticism comes from that it's not anything that we've seen from the Roddenberry Star Trek I'm sorry, I should say from where we've started, but really from the Roddenberry Star Trek to the Berman Braga era. We've never seen Klingons like this, so that might be playing a role in my skepticism that we can be completely correct on the Klingon lore, because some of it might be new.
For sure. I'm guessing quite a bit of it is new, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we did enough last podcast episode.
Okay.
So I wanted to just rewind a little bit, because I do think that if we nail down right at the get-go, we'll be okay as new episodes come out, because I don't think this Klingon conflict's going anywhere for a long time. I don't think this is like a 2 episode arc, and the next
No,
one we're
no,
going to
this
be
is
like,
gonna have. I think this could hold heavy for a while.
yeah, for sure. And then to your point about the Roddenberry, Brandon Braga stuff, so the showrunner, um, is it Kurtzman?
Yeah, Alex Kurtzman. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was him. One of them was a writer back in the day, in the Berman days.
Oh,
I don't know if it was him. Sorry, I think we
I
brought it
don't
up last
think.
time. It was Brian Fuller.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Fuller was a writer on Deep Space Nine.
Oh,
And then
okay.
in Voyager, he was a writer, story editor, and then co-producer.
Okay.
And so now Discovery, he's a co-creator. And so to me, that helps a little bit in what you were talking about, as far as, because I don't know why it's important, but it is to me that there's like an unbroken chain. And I definitely think there's some weak links in there, but there's
Yeah.
still something there, because otherwise you just have, I don't know what you have in the absence of that. But so
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this Brian Fuller guy, but I hope his time with Voyager and Deep Space Nine gives him the credentials to make this a decent show.
Yeah, I hope so too. Here's hoping. Oh,
Yeah.
Before we forget, I just wanted to
Yeah.
wish you and everybody happy Star Trek Day, by the way.
Happy Star Trek Day. And why don't you explain exactly what that means, Jason?
So Star Trek Day is, well, it's September the 8th as we're recording this. And so back in 1966 on TV, Star Trek premiered September 8th, 1966, and went for 3 seasons. And then in 1973, lo and behold, Star Trek the Animated Series premiered September 8th, 1973. So it's kind of a twofer, a double.
Got it. All right.
So
yeah, and
happy Star
you
Trek
and
Day.
I in the real world had to delay this a couple times, so this kind of worked out that we're doing this in Star Trek Day.
Yeah, it worked out. Yeah, it worked out really nicely.
Okay.
Just so by happenstance.
Yeah. All right. So this Klingon stuff.
Okay. Yes. Sorry. Go ahead. Engage.
There's a lot I'm unclear on.
Me too.
And so ignoring weird makeup choices.
Yes.
And costumes.
Yes.
So there is a fractured Klingon empire. There's 24 great houses. And so there's a leader. I'm going to mess up his name. Takuvma.
Yep, Takuvma. Yep. You did not.
Okay. All right. So Takuvma is the leader.
Yes.
Loosely. He wants to unite the great houses, and he makes reference to another name, Kalis.
Kalis.
Yes,
Kalis. That is okay. Kalis is real. I mean, in the canonical sense, he was, yes,
the uniter.
Yes.
He is the ancient uniter. He was the one in the past who was able to bring the empire together.
Yes.
And so Takuvma is under the impression that this prophecy is going to come true, that they're going to unite again.
The chosen one?
And so, well, I mean, kind of, because there's this idea of like a torch bearer, a light bearer that is going to be like the one to like set things in motion. And so um there's a Klingon who is killed by the lead character of this show.
Yes,
Who is
the the light bearer was
yeah.
killed by Burnham accidentally,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Right. But it was symbolic to them because it was like the first death in this battle that is to come, because coinciding with the unification of the houses is the battle with the Federation, because they believe that the Federation is like holding them back. So there seems to be like an overlap between like the start of this war and the unification of the
Yeah,
houses.
and the other thing too that I think that is important to point out, that Klingons in general are very I I would say nationalistic in a way, where they think that the Federation, and they make mention of this, which was very poignant and also very true, that the Federation is kind of like what the Klingons despise, right? The coming together of humans, Vulcans, Andorians, and Tellarites. That just makes, Klingons, that's a that's a sign of weakness, right? Where Klingons want to conquer and defeat the enemy. This is the antithesis of what the Klingon Empire and what the Klingons believe in. They believe in that purity kind of deal, which is not a new concept, but really interesting to see, like, to see in your face.
Yeah. Well, and so the Takuma is looking for a new torchbearer. So the one who was killed by Burnham was a torchbearer, but he's looking. So it's kind of like an idea of bearing a torch, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like looking for a new one. So this one named Vok,
Mm-hmm.
who is a pale-skinned Klingon
Yes,
who does
yes.
not come from a great house. But
No.
so at first he's kind of shunned. Vok is kind of shunned, and he's not embraced. But Vok volunteers to be this torchbearer who's going to be the sort of impetus that starts this reaction of war that's going to unite the houses. And so Vok is like his own the only thing he brings to the table is like devotion. And
Yes.
so that manifests in him putting his hand into a flame, and he's like unflinching, and that is supposed to be proof of his, how dogmatic he is about uh their belief system
Yeah.
and his
Yeah.
devotion.
Yeah.
And that
Pain
that is
is something
enough.
that they. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so that's enough to convince Takuma that Vok can be this torchbearer. Okay, so now picking up where we left off in episode 1. So um, Burnham had been advocating for attacking the Klingons first. That was the Vulcan hello. No one believed her, or believed in her, that was the correct thing to do.
Yeah.
She was raised by Vulcans, specifically, apparently, Spock's dad,
Yes.
at the Vulcan Science Academy. We don't totally
Yes.
know what her origins are, but
Well, we know that her parents were killed in a battle. Maybe, and it's not clear to me, but against Klingons? Is that
that's the impression
is
I
that the
got.
impression that I okay.
Yeah, but I definitely have the feeling of doubt where I don't want to say that's for sure what happened,
Yeah, yeah, me
because I don't.
too. Me too. Me too. That yeah.
They're trying to obscure her origins a bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
So so she basically ends up in the brig. So Michelle Yeoh, her captain, the actress Michelle Yeoh's character is the captain.
Yeah.
Giorgio.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say Philippa Giorgio.
Yeah. So she ends up in the brig, and while she's in there, the battle ensues, and their ship, the Shenzhou, gets like not destroyed, but
heavily damaged.
Major beating.
Yeah.
To the point where there's hull breaches, multiple deaths, everything is knocked out. And so she's in the brig, and there's like a force field holding her in. And on the other side of the force field is literally open space because of the hull breaches. And so here's where we get into something I think you're not going to like, Jason.
Yeah, I did not love it.
So she mind melds with Sarek, sorry. Yeah. Sarek, Spock's dad.
Yeah.
And Sarek isn't there. Normally a mind meld is like putting the hand on the temple.
It's ridiculous.
The reason she's able to, apparently, is because she has Sarek's Katra in her head. And Katra is like a spirit.
The soul, life force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But more so than that. It's more so. It's like it's living memory. It's the being of who he was. To quote Star Trek, to quote unquote Star Trek 3, Search for Spock.
Yeah. So and for me, I experienced this in Enterprise when Captain Archer had the Katra of Sirenites?
Tesseract. No, Tesseract.
Surak. Oh, yeah. The OG.
Yeah, the OG Vulcan. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, I knew I was going to mess that up. But they're basically possessed by their essence and their life force, and so like in that case, Archer could see and feel and know things.
Yes.
From that Katra.
Yes.
So in this case, though, it's like a telecommunication device in her head.
It's Luke Skywalker, man. It's Luke Skywalker in freaking Last Jedi, dude. No, it's Last Jedi. It's that force projection ridiculous nonsense that I can't stand either.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm like, no.
Okay.
I'm like, you lost. I'm like, all right, Star Trek Discovery, you've lost me again already. I'm like, no, you can't. No.
Yeah, this was so well. Okay, there was moments in Enterprise when T'Pol had a psychic connection with Tucker because they had mind melded.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was more of like an intuition that they shared.
Yeah. It's not this open portally dialogue thing that no.
I can't think of any reason why they wouldn't have just done a flashback. It's like she could have just remembered back to a lesson that she had.
Yeah.
And then drawn from that lesson.
Yeah.
Like she didn't need a real time like phone a friend moment with Sarek. So
yeah, I agree with that 100%. Obviously. I could not. No.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. So, if it was like more of like a, an interpretation or of like his voice in her head.
Yeah.
Run, Luke, run. More that, then I'm cool.
Right.
But full on force projection nonsense across the galaxy. No, you lost me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because even though we're dealing with like the spiritual realm and possession and stuff, you would still think that the distance would matter.
Yeah.
And the idea that it's such a vivid image of Sarek there.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, even if they had done the Obi-Wan thing in Empire Strikes Back, you must go to the Dagobah system.
Yeah.
And then he like fades away. Like, I don't know. I would have been okay there, but more okay.
Yeah.
But don't do the Katra thing in any
case. Yeah. Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Don't bring that up. No, you can't just have Katra long range communications like, as you were saying, phone a friend. No.
Yeah.
No.
Very weird. I don't know, man. So, okay. The battle is not going well in Starfleet's favor. So, the leader of Starfleet.
Yep, the Admiral.
Yeah,
Brett Anderson.
Admiral. Mm-hmm. Comes in the USS Europa, and he wants to negotiate with the Klingons. They kind of trick him, and a cloaked Klingon ship basically wedges the Europa.
Yeah, rams
splits
them.
it.
Yeah.
And so at the last second, the Europa apparently opens up their antimatter and does like a self-destruct thing, which blows up the Europa and the Klingon ship. The Shenzhou continues to take damage.
Can we pause right there? That is also new.
Okay.
That was also very new to me. Like, first of all, in Star Trek, ships usually aren't like, there are some exceptions obviously, but not that big and don't have that capability to just cloak ram a ship. I mean it's possible that that it could happen, but it's not something that I'm used to. Yeah, I just feel so far this feels like J.J. Abrams has Obi-Wan Kenobi'd his way into this, into Alex Kurtzman and Brian Fuller and all these people who's come up with this Discovery Star Trek. But I digress. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's all good. And like for us in this show, we're talking plot points, we're talking lore.
Yeah.
This was just a huge space battle.
Yeah.
And the like salient points are that, so like the Shenzhou, so she's trapped in this prison. She's going to run out of air. There's a thing with the computer where the computer like isn't allowed to let her go, but then she appeals to the computer's ethical programming and says, if you don't do this, I'm going to die. So the computer like lets her go, and she basically like jettisons through the vacuum of space for a short period of time and makes it to the part that isn't breached.
Do you think that's possible? Like, is that like, even for that short period, do you think that's possible? Like in,
I mean, isn't there a thing where your internal pressure would push out and you would,
like, if you did this?
Yeah.
I don't know, because it's a vacuum. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay. Because I thought you would immediately possible. Like freeze and just go.
Yeah. Right.
But I digress on that.
Yeah, because I wonder what the temperature of space is. Is it like
Yeah.
absolute zero?
I don't remember. It
Because there's
seemed,
nothing there.
yeah, it's like,
Yeah, so why don't you just immediately turn into the
yeah, you
T1000
would, yeah. Um,
in the liquid
let me,
nitrogen or whatever that was?
uh,
Well, okay.
so I think it's like, if I remember correctly, it's like minus, excuse me, minus like 450-ish degrees Fahrenheit,
Oh my
or
God.
like
Okay, yeah.
minus 270 or something like that in Celsius. So
There's no
there's no
way.
way. There's no way.
Yeah, because you see those videos of people in Minnesota when it's like -70 and they throw water into the air and it
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
immediately like freezes to ice and
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, so it lost me
um
there, along with, yeah. I was gonna say the Carrie Fisher scene from in Last
yeah,
Jedi
yeah,
2,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm not gonna go there.
Yeah. Much like the the light speed jump through the ship,
Yeah,
which will be relevant again when we talk about Ahsoka later in this
yeah,
podcast.
yeah, I know, I know. Go ahead.
Well, anyway, so my point being, this is just a big battle, and she does that. She makes it out. Um, she teams up again with Philippa, and initially Philippa wants to send um, torpedoes in a shuttle to
Yeah.
kill Takuma.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. But then um, Burnham convinces her, "You're just going to make a martyr out of him.
Yeah.
That's how Klingons work. If you kill him, he's a martyr, and you're just going to galvanize them." And so she convinces him instead we should capture him. And so they have this whole plan. So they beam onto the ship and they're going to capture him. But Vok is there, and so Philippa and Burnham battle hand to hand combat with Takuma and Vok, and Philippa is fatally stabbed.
Yeah.
Takuma is killed,
Yeah.
and Burnham is transported out of there, and they can't get a lock on Philippa. So Philippa's body is there, and so the death of Takuma leaves a vacuum that Vok fills, and
Yeah.
so Vok has ascended from a Klingon with no great family and nothing to now the leader of at least one house, but possibly the
Potentially.
entire
Yeah.
empire. Yeah.
Yeah, potentially.
So,
Okay, so let's I'm gonna back you up just a little bit. The more
mhm,
important thing, and it comes back to like building Klingon lore. So as Takuma is declared victory, he sends all of his allies that stayed back to Kronos. But he
right,
stays behind to tractor beam the dead so they can bring the
right.
dead back to the sarcophagus or his ship. And I'm like,
Hmm.
that's new. That's kind
Sure.
of new. And then the other thing that plays a role in the episode is that is how they disable Takuma's ship, is that Burnham changes the plan and they actually attach a torpedo to
To the
one of the
dead.
bodies, and it
Yeah.
tractors beams this torpedo
Right.
and it explodes and it cuts off the quote unquote head of the sarcophagus ship,
Right.
um, or Takuma ship. And then the other point that I wanted to make was, and I was curious about that. Was it me, or is it because not only did he not only come from an outcast house, but it's because um he's also what's the word am I looking for? Albino.
Right.
That's also part of why he's outcast, right?
For, apparently.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's why they made a point of that.
Yeah, okay.
Is that
okay.
Yeah. Well, so in them tractor beaming the dead thing, and that was new to me. I was like, okay.
That was
But
new to me.
also, but also, would it also not be very Klingon like to merely disable the Shinzu? Like, wouldn't they have obliterated it?
Yeah, usually. Yeah, usually.
And
And
that was a little bit too convenient because them not finishing the job led to their downfall. And it
yeah,
seems very un-Klingon to not like go out of their way to just decimate instead of merely disabling the
yeah,
ship that they
yeah.
attacked.
I mean, is that a hard and fast rule?
You let it slide?
I I don't know if that's the only thing, right? I'm not sure. I'm not entirely certain if like it makes sense that they would like just lay waste to everything. Um is it true? I don't know. I don't know if every time in every
Mm,
battle the Klingons
yeah,
left no survivors.
got it. It was a chaotic battle. Perhaps they didn't
Yeah.
know. I still think their scanners would have picked up life forms. I would have preferred a line of dialogue that said, leave them alive. We're going to capture them as slaves. Do the Klingons take slaves?
They do. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They
Like
take
if
prisoners.
they
Oh,
had,
for sure.
if they were working on a plan to go like enslave, then I would have been fine. But the fact that they were like apparently unaware that the ship was merely disabled and there's a bunch of alive
Mm.
people on it, I was just like, okay.
The other thing I was going to say to that too is, and I was curious about that. I'm like, do you think Takuvma was so arrogant and that it was kind of like character flaw that he just like, yeah, they're defeated. We've won this battle.
I mean, that's best case scenario. It seems maybe more likely that it's just sloppy writing.
It could have been. It could have been. It could have been. No
So,
question.
but okay. So that's everything I know. So just the last piece of the episode is that, so flash forward to Burnham is in front of Starfleet. She's being court-martialed
Yes.
for striking an officer, starting a war. And the episode ends with her being sentenced to life in prison.
Yeah.
So obviously that's not going to happen. She's not going to prison for life. She's the
Right.
star of the show, but
Right.
that's a hell of a cliffhanger.
And I don't know if that is something I've ever heard General Court Martial from Starfleet
Mm-hmm.
that it would be life. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, they seem a little too progressive for that. They seem
Yeah.
to like they would not do a life
And there
sentence.
wasn't like any I mean at least we weren't shown the fair judicial process
Mm-hmm.
that you would think or that Starfleet has generally. That was kind of a quick like wrap up. Like, yeah.
Well, okay. So the questions I have about the Klingons, Jason,
Yeah.
is what is the history of the conflict between the Klingons and Starfleet at this point in the timeline? Do we know?
We don't know.
We don't know. Okay.
Well, we know that there have been some skirmishes up to this point, and that's true.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think, buddy, that and I want to talk to you about this, that the writer said to themselves, hey, there's a gap, and we'll play in that gap, and we'll write this, and we'll fill in what's not been completely addressed.
Sure.
Right? And
you mean like how in the original series the Klingons and Starfleet are full-fledged enemies.
Yeah.
Whereas at the end of Enterprise, they're close to that, but
yes,
not
but
necessarily.
Right. And then at that point in Enterprise, the Empire is fairly solidified at that point. Right?
Yeah, so that's my next question is when did it fracture in
Oh, I
between
have no idea. I have
Okay.
And that's the thing about the Klingon Empire is that in many times in canonical history or canonical past, there is, I mean, this is a warrior caste-based race alien culture that is just, vying for power, vying for this, vying for that, all in the name of the Klingon Empire and, the leadership. It's a fascinating, like, political structure to see, like, who's leading the high count, who's strong enough, who can hold it, how many people have backstabbed the other to kill the chancellor, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's really interesting. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Empire is fractured at this moment.
Okay, fair enough. And then what about the timing? So because there is this intersection of like, they destroy the Starfleet's beacon. They want to unite the houses.
Yeah.
They start a war. All these things happen at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And the Klingons allude to a prophecy of a torchbearer who carries the light of Kalis and is going to bring them back to the light because they've strayed from the time of and teachings or whatever of Kalis. And they're going to come back. But what do you think is like, what explains like why now in your head? Do you think it's been a slow build? Do you think this Takuma has been like on this like decades long
I do
like, building things up?
Yeah.
Like kind of like Palpatine, just like because it didn't happen overnight. It took decades. It was like building up the fleet, the everything, and it was finally at a point where it was ready, and the first domino was destroying the Starfleet beacon.
There you go. That's exactly what I think. I think that the Empire is in that moment of fracturedness.
Mm-hmm.
To what degree, I don't know, but it seems like it's pretty bad. And that they have to clean up their own house. And Takuma, I don't know if he's the strongest, because it's usually the strongest person that unites the houses to become the Klingon to become the leader of the High Council. So in Star Trek, the house, yes, that's true. It is the most powerful houses that make up the leadership council, the Klingon High Council.
Mm-hmm.
And then one person emerges as the chancellor or the leader of the Klingon High Council.
Got it.
So that's yes, that's true. In my mind, because Discovery is set about 10 years before Kirk and Spock, and we didn't get all that much history from Kirk and Spock days from how Enterprise left off. Yeah, I think we're just at that point where it's just the Klingon Empire is so fractured, and there hasn't been a strong leader to lead them.
Wait, did you say it's 10 years?
Yeah, I think it's 10 years before
Oh, wow.
the days of Kirk and Spock.
Wow. I thought it was like 100 years.
No, 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 no. I think it's only 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
I am I
leads me to
am much
a host of whole
yeah.
other issues that we talked about last
Yeah.
time.
Man, that is disappointing to hear. I thought because I thought a longer period of time could
No,
explain,
unfortunately, yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's
Okay.
like I think it's like a decade before,
Okay. All right.
which again, uh
Oh boy.
uh
Okay. So um so then so for the Klingons then um so okay, they're this was like building up. This is the moment they've been building up to,
mhm, mhm.
probably is going to get unified under Vok, right? And and I wanted to
I don't
ask though
know.
too,
It's gonna be hard because he's an albino Klingon, and
not from a great house.
yeah, it's gonna be
Because yeah,
really hard. It's gonna be really hard.
well, okay, but I wanted to ask though too, because we're talking about skirmishes prior to this, but I
Yeah,
think in episode one, someone said something like, "There has we haven't nobody's seen a Klingon in 100 years." Somebody
yeah.
says something to that effect.
That's
But we
probably true.
but we think though we're pretty sure that Burnham's family was killed by Klingons, and so
Yeah.
um, there's a weird discrepancy there, where it does feel like there's been this ceasefire that's so strong that they literally don't even
Yeah.
like interact with each other
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
100 years, but
Yeah.
then somehow there's still this animosity between the Klingons and the humans, uh, but also Burnham's family was killed, unless she was killed as part of like a Vulcan mission. Her family was killed as, like, maybe they were on a Vulcan ship, because the Vulcans, the Vulcan hello, maybe they do have regular skirmishes with the Klingons.
Well, but isn't that what led them to that ceasefire too? Was the Vulcan hello, where Vulcans,
Yeah,
right?
but I'm just saying, like, maybe that Vulcan hello was within the 100-year span.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree with you on that one. Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Okay.
And it's also possible that, yeah, I see. I think that's more plausible, right? Is that no, I'm sorry. Um, I because that's where that builds on a point that you made earlier, is that they don't take prisoners. That's why we don't know or see Klingons, or why, quote unquote, we haven't seen Klingons in so
Mm,
long. Because every time they've, faced them, they've all been killed, and it's just stories and, like, the remnants you know, um, of what's in the aftermath of their destruction.
yeah. Okay. Well, stylistic choices and weird, like the Katra thing, stuff like that. Aside from that,
Aside from that, yep.
I mean, I do like the show. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
But I'm not over the moon about it, and I think we are gonna. I think it's gonna be less episodic than we're used to, and it's gonna be more
Yes.
like uh Game of Thrones or something, where it's like you have to watch the first one.
Yes.
You have to watch
Yes.
them all. You can't just like
Yes.
jump in the middle of it.
Yes. 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 I agree.
So,
what do you think? What do you think of Burnham and Sonequa Martin Green? Because I think she's kind of a highlight, actually. I think the way that they're writing her character is actually it's actually really good. I mean, a human to be brought up by Vulcans.
Yeah.
And to have that, I mean, even more conflict than Spock. I mean, right? Because he's half and half, but, it's interesting.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. I am surprised at the risk she's willing to take to accomplish what she believes is the correct course of action.
And yet, in the end, she still loses Philippa. Like, her loyalty was to save the crew and Philippa, Captain Georgiou, Captain G.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, like, in her mind, it's purely logical to do that. But, like, do you think she knew she was risking, like, court-martial and life imprisonment by Vulcan nerve pinching her commanding officer? Like,
and starting a war? Yeah. She had to know. She's not that. Yeah, she had to know that was a possibility.
So.
And that's where the human element comes in, right? Where one of them is that I think she was blinded by her. I think it was like a little bit of naivete and some arrogance to, like, think that they were going to win, that they were going to win this. Right? Just by cutting off the head at the neck of the big ship. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if her character keeps up this level of energy throughout the show. Like, she just is a force of nature, just like a head full of ideas, and so we'll see. I like her though.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, I think it's been written beautifully character wise. We got to see 7 years ago, Philippa giving her the chance, them being introduced and all that kind of stuff. And that Vulcan human thing is going to be really interesting to watch her character.
Well, anything else about this episode?
No, I think we got it.
Cool. You're caught up on Ahsoka?
Should we turn the corner to Ahsoka? Yes, I am.
Yeah. Spoiler alert for anybody?
Yep. Stop the episode, stop watching us, and go watch Ahsoka.
This week was episode 4, The Fallen Jedi.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if you noticed this, and I don't know if they do this every week, but like right when it releases, it's just called Chapter 4.
Yeah. I'm like, really?
But then later they add.
I was curious about that. Yeah, I'm like, Jedi. Is that like? Because I noticed it, I'm like, wow, that's some really lazy, like, titling. and then when does that happen? That they add?
I'm trying to remember. I didn't watch it all the way through twice. I think it's the next day.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay. So, what do you think of Ahsoka, Chapter 4?
There are two major things, and one bothers me, but I get it. But it still bothers me. And then 2, where is she in the end? Is she in that realm? Or is this like
the world between worlds?
I'm sorry?
The world between worlds.
Yeah. Is she there, or is that just her unconscious mind?
She's there.
Oh, she is there.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's not clear to me. It was not clear to me.
It's not clear if she's dead. It's not clear if she was pulled in by Anakin. And there's also the idea that she was pulled in by her spirit owl thing that she got from the
Ezra?
sister, I think.
Or from the sister? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh. So
that's actually why I rewatched it the next day, is because there's a shot when they're on the ship, starts with a C, I think. There's a shot of the ship when it's there, and the camera is looking through the trees, and so and it's high up. So the idea is that the shot is from the perspective of the owl that follows her around.
Oh, I totally missed that. Missed that.
In the Jedi, the Mandalorian episode where we met Ahsoka,
right?
The owl there is an owl in the trees.
Yes,
and we assume it's that spirit owl.
It's that spirit owl. Oh, okay.
And so,
what are your thoughts
on the end?
No. Just in general on the whole thing.
I'm enjoying it. Last time I talked about how they're like letting it breathe.
Yeah.
And they're not doing what all TV does now, which is just like inundate you with characters and plot and dialogue and trying to do a million things.
Slow?
See, I think it's slow in a good way.
Okay.
That's how I like things. I like things to be a slow burn.
It's not a criticism. Yeah. It's not a criticism. I'm just wondering. I'm curious what you think. And then what do you think about some of the like 30, 40-minute runtimes? Aren't they usually like, wasn't like Andor like 50 most of it, and then Mando is usually 50?
Yeah, it's a good question.
And then
I always thought Mando was shorter.
8 episodes, right? We're not going to get 10 or 12. We're only getting 8.
I heard it was 8. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're more than halfway through, and we still haven't gotten the Grand Admiral yet.
Right. But so that's the thing with the world between worlds, is there's the idea that it's connected to or approximate to hyperspace.
Right.
And so it's possible that Ahsoka could literally just walk to this other galaxy.
Right.
Because it transcends space and time.
Right.
And like the Loth Wolves, or whatever they're called, they were able, like, that mural has the mural on Lothal.
Yeah.
The famous one has those wolves on it, and the wolves were able to like travel through the planet using this realm.
Thank you for bringing that up. I want to pause you just for a second. Yeah. I want to say you were right and I was wrong in our last episode. That last scene from whatever episode ago, it was the exact recreation of the Rebels finals.
Oh yeah.
And I did not, and that was intentional, that they jumped ahead however long it's been, right? From the end of, well, I don't know how to like phrase this, but like that last scene of Rebels to the like seconds of end before. So that was absolutely done for a very specific,
as an Easter egg. It's just an Easter egg though.
Yeah. But that was not, I was wrong. It was a complete live action of the final scene of Rebels. And I was like, oh, that's really cool.
So
but go ahead, sorry.
Well, so I think we could see Thrawn as early as next week, because because now that she's there, I think she's able to just like walk to the other galaxy. And there's all these connections between hyperspace, the world between worlds, the whales, the hyperspace whales.
Yeah.
And there's like specific planets that have like portals to the world between worlds. Like Lothal, the reason why that mural is a portal. And then
Yes.
this place that they're on now, because of the star map little arena thing, the
Yeah.
idea is that that is also a portal into the world between worlds.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay. That makes sense. Oh, okay. Okay.
And apparently there's a thing with the Chiss as well, where in their galaxy they had corrupted um the world between worlds or hyperspace. They had like
Uh-huh.
done something that made it impossible to do it, but Thrawn was like able to figure it out. Like
Oh.
um and that, I think that explains the role of the Force, because why is this dark Jedi involved in this, and why is the
Oh.
sister involved with it? And apparently, because if
I
you
was
think of
gonna
like
ask you
the
that.
Loth wolves and the whales, clearly there's like a force element, and
And
the
the owl.
spirit
Yeah, the
owl.
spirit owl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
clearly
Uh-huh.
there's a strong force connection to this.
Oh.
And so um it's more than just like a wormhole. It's like a thing that the force
Oh.
uses. Yeah. So
Oh, cool. And where is this I'm so glad
yeah.
I get
Where's
to
what?
learn where is this
Oh, information about all
yeah.
this? No, this is me going down the wormhole, just trying to
Oh, okay.
learn about.
It's you going down a rabbit hole. But it makes sense though.
If you were to watch like all the Rebels episodes with the world between worlds, you probably like it'd probably be second nature. And the ones with
I
the father, the son, and the daughter,
and the
like all
daughter
that stuff.
from Clone
Yeah.
Wars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's been a while since I've watched Rebels, but okay, cool. All right, cool.
The in like the star map projection thing, there's like a ring of the light speed whales,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember. Yeah.
and it looks just like the Lothal wolves um
Oh.
when they're in one of the images of the world between worlds.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's yeah, so the idea is there's like beings who are strong with the force who are able to tap into it,
Right, 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 right,
and
right.
dark Jedi, Balin is trying to recreate that
I was about
using
to
the
ask you,
force.
what do you
Yeah.
think his role in this is? He can't just be waiting for the end of like, the destruction of one thing and the creation of another by Thrawn in another war.
I I heard a theory that he was an outcast of the Jedi Order from before the Clone Wars, and he thought he could use the world between worlds to go back in time and fix the Jedi Order to what it should have been, because it transcends time. Like he thinks he
Right,
can go
right, right,
back
right,
in
right, right, right,
time
right, right, right,
and like right the wrongs of the Jedi
right,
Order
right.
and correct its course such
Oh,
that
falls to the Empire.
it never falls to like what he didn't want it to become. And
Do
and
we
he's
know?
basically
Do we know what he's trying to prevent? The the original order from falling to Palpatine and
I think straying from whatever people say that they strayed from, because we know Dave Filoni is a big fan of that narrative, right? Of that the
yes,
Jedi
yes,
have
yes.
strayed from their core tenets. Um,
Well, I
so
mean, that's why Qui-Gon though,
yeah,
but
exactly.
I mean,
Wasn't on the council, and
right.
Yeah.
Because he was a maverick master.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he wanted to make them more like in that image. That's
Yeah.
the theory. That's the theory. Is like when he talks about like wanting to harness like this bigger power. Apparently, that's what he's talking about. And I think, and if
Ah.
that's true, like maybe he thinks Thrawn knows how to do this because apparently Thrawn used that portal to get from the distant galaxy to the Star Wars galaxy. I don't know. Now I'm just filling in blanks, but I'm not sure.
Oh, wow.
So I don't think he's necessarily like wanting to install Thrawn. It's more about using Thrawn's experience and power to tap into something that he wants for himself.
Right. Okay.
So
And but you think, okay, so there was an interesting, I read somewhere and I don't remember where, so I'm sorry. But like there was an interesting like blurb that because Thrawn is not heavily mentioned
mm-hmm.
as the father of the First Order, that he's defeated this time.
Say that again.
So, because there are no mentions of Thrawn as being the father of the First Order
Okay. Yeah.
in the
Right. Mm-hmm.
prequels, or
Yeah.
sorry, the sequels, I'm sorry. The
Yeah.
sequels, that he's defeated. That he must be defeated
Oh.
in either Ahsoka or in some
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
Do you think that's true?
I have no
He could
idea.
he could
Not
also
think.
he could also be stuck in the world between worlds.
So he escapes and they throw him back.
Yeah, because
Ah,
apparently that is what explains Ahsoka's absence during the original
the
trilogy,
originals trilogy.
is that she like jumped through time from Rebels time to now via this portal.
And is that because she got, is that is that from being pulled out by Ezra Bridger, or no? Even before then.
She was pulled in by the owl, I think.
Oh,
Her
okay.
her and Ezra were in there in the portal.
Yes.
And Ezra was
Ezra
there because
saved her.
he wanted to save Kaylin. But while they were there, Palpatine tries to enter the portal
Holy crap, I really need to rewatch
and
Rebels.
they stop Palpatine from coming in.
Right, I do remember that.
Ahsoka
Okay.
Ahsoka and Ezra stop Palpatine from coming
Yes,
in.
I do remember that. I do remember that.
And I think maybe that venture in to the portal is how she jumps forward in time and it
Yeah.
apparently explains her absence from like where she was that whole time.
Yeah, okay.
So I might have been completely wrong about the Chiss coming from another galaxy. I think they were
They
just
are
from
from another
unknown
galaxy, right?
regions. There's
Or are they
from
from
something
the
called
unknown regions, or the
unknown regions. Yeah.
unknown regions? Okay.
So I
Okay.
think it might be within the same galaxy, but
Right.
in an area where they still have to navigate through routes that are hard to
Right,
navigate.
right, right, right,
And
right, right, right,
so,
right,
yeah.
right.
And
Okay.
it's possible that they're using the stuff that we're talking about. The Chiss used what we're talking about to do that.
Right. Got it. Got it. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense to me.
If I'm reading all the theories correctly and
Okay.
recaps and stuff. So
That
I
makes
don't know.
sense to
I could
me. I'm cool with
be
that.
totally wrong. Leave a comment if
I'm cool
I'm
with that.
an idiot. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So what do you think of the Republic?
Um so I'm pretty sure the
I know that's a
Calamarian
broad general
is
statement.
Akbar's kid. I'm pretty sure the Calmarian is Akbar's kid.
The one serving on Home One.
Yeah.
Close to General Syndulla.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. He's been very absent, the old admiral, from this thus far.
Ever since episode 1, the like good guy fighter pilots have been too colorful in personality wise for me. Like I always thought that like I liked how they were um like the Rogue Squadron was like they were military, they were like buttoned up, proper, and just like getting down to business. I like that. Like they came across as like um I don't know, like soldiers.
Yeah.
But ever since episode 1, they like really gave them a lot of personality, like colorful personality.
Yeah.
And I never was into it. And I
Oh, really?
still
Oh,
I'm
really?
bumped by it. Yeah, it
Oh,
bothers me
really?
how they're like kind of like winking and having fun and I don't know, being sarcastic, and
Okay.
I don't like it. It's not my so
Okay.
because like I just what I'm saying is like that scene with the X-wings. I think we were supposed to be like, oh, cool X-wings, but to me, I was immediately ruined by the commentary from the starfighter
Oh
pilots,
no, you don't like
the
Carson
X-wing pilots.
Teva? Oh no.
No, I don't.
Appa. Oh no, I love Appa.
He just doesn't. He's just like not a soldier. I don't know. I just feel like Wedge was like a soldier, kind of,
Interesting.
or a military. Like he was like proper. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if
Got
that's.
you.
I don't know if soldier is the right word. Help me out here, buddy. Like
Well, I think so.
Wedge,
I
Wedge
think
had no personality.
yeah. And I can see that, but at the same time, like they were fighting for something. Wedge,
There's an urgency there.
Red 5, Red
Yeah.
6, all them. They were fighting this evil thing, but now, they're in, they're the ones, they're the ones in the seat of power now. And so there's a little bit more of a lightness, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, I your logic makes sense. I don't think that's what's driving the difference between the
Sure.
original trilogy and
Yeah.
later. I think it's more like I don't know.
You think it's writing? You think they're just trying to
Yeah, I
write
think it's
them to be
writing.
a little bit more, whatever?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So it strikes me that the Chancellor and Mon Mothma and the
Uh-huh.
elements of the Republic are being arrogant again, and
Okay.
that they are kind of reflecting what Palpatine's failings were. Is that okay? Yeah, we're the Republic. We defeated the Empire's dead, and they're not
Okay.
coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh man, is this what leads to their downfall again?
Hmm.
Because they wouldn't send help for Hera.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Oh, and a small thing as you think, I love that they brought back Home One. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I liked it. I was again, I was that scene would have been a lot cooler to me if
Okay. If Carson,
if the tone had matched the previous iteration.
I got you. Okay.
But I mean, it's a fair point. When we experience them in the past, they're in the middle of a battle half the
Yes.
time, or
Yes.
every time. So
They're fighting against this evil.
mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
there is more of a seriousness. Yeah. So, okay. And I want to ask you this because I don't love it, but I understand it. And that's the
Okay.
fact that Sabine Wren did not destroy the map.
Sure.
And is like the chance to save her friend and potential, love interest. To Balin, I'm like, wow, that's a yeah, I'm unsettled, but I get it, if you know what I mean.
Quicker,
I
more
want to get your
seductive
thoughts.
the dark side is.
Yeah. I wanted to get your thoughts on that. I'm like, is there a way that do you think that they could have written that to be different without?
So I think it's supposed to be like Ahsoka lost Anakin to attachment.
Yeah.
And now she's going to lose Sabine to
Sabine to
attachment.
attachment.
And that's like Ahsoka's like curse. That's the thing she has to overcome.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe she'll have to go into she'll have to go into seclusion and meditate on a rock and force project herself across to save the Republic later. But
don't go there.
No, yeah, I think that's all it is.
That's all that is. Okay.
And I would say like, oh, what if Sabine becomes like this like dark Jedi figure and she becomes like the Knights of Ren because it's Sabine Wren, but I think it's spelled different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's WREN. Yeah.
Okay.
Angel asked the same thing, and I'm like, no.
Okay.
So Sabine Wren is WR. It's not the Knights of unless like she does, and they just drop the W, and that's how it becomes the Knights of Ren. But yeah. Okay, and who was Marok in the end? Because he gets killed. He or she gets killed.
Yeah, I think it was meant to be like a reanimated, like almost like Savage Opress, like
just another
how the sisters
Inquisitor?
like use their like the sisters like use their magic to like reanimate him. I think it was basically the sisters like reanimated like kind of undead soldier.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
and then Ahsoka like cutting him down like dissipated the magic.
Right. Okay. Oh, is that what that was? Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what I took from it.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I didn't know. Okay, cool.
I meant to go back and watch Savage's death to see if there was a similar.
Oh, okay.
Because he like kind of like contorted and like I don't know how well you know Return of the King, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
No, not that great. Only seen
when
it
they
once
kill, when they kill the Night King or whatever his name is, he does the exact same twisting thing where, and then the like black smoke like dissipates.
Oh, interesting.
I just said the Night King. That was a Game of Thrones thing. I meant the like the King of the Nazgul.
Okay. I mean, you would know
of the ring wraiths, the king of the ring wraiths. I've got too many worlds in my head, buddy.
And so
it's late. So
last two things. Anakin Skywalker, what's he doing? Is this a ghost? What is this?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Because did you notice he was wearing his like Clone Wars, and his hair was short, right?
Yes,
wasn't his hair short?
I think so. It was Jedi toupee, not toupee, but the
like mullet.
The mullet, yeah, the Jedi mullet. Thank you.
Um,
because if you listen to the music at the end, it's the Vader theme.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I think,
what?
I think there was a thing that explained like why he looked like a young ghost at the end of the Return of the Jedi director's cut stuff. There's a thing in one of the expanded universe things that explained how the world between worlds did that, because there's a time component to that realm, and I think there is something where
it's corporeal.
Like
there is a time
ghost
element.
Yeah, I think his like ghost reverts back to a different time or something.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know.
Okay. And then
and that's what you're seeing, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious. I'm like, I know it's Hayden Christensen and I know they wanted to bring him back, but I'm like, is this a ghost? What is that?
I mean, I think it's just his Force ghost, and I think it somehow reverted back because of the temporal component of the world between worlds.
Just like in the redone Return of the Jedi, they add Hayden Christensen. Okay. And then I wanted to ask the last thing. What do you think? Because I know you're big into it. Like, do you like the fantasy Purrgil, Loth Wolf, Spirit Owl?
Yeah, I mean,
other realm kind of stuff that they're building
like the
into Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Middle Earth, the Hobbit, kind of going into that kind of dealio.
Yeah, I do like, because I like how it's like tapping into like the core, like the canon, like sort of power, like it's not like another, it doesn't break canon, this magic, because they're basically just like borrowing the Force. The sisters are,
yeah. And they're building on it. They're building on the father, the son, the daughter, the Bandu.
Yeah. So it's all good. It's fine. I don't necessarily need that much to it, but I mean, that was like George's vision all along. I think his first script was called The Wills of the Force or something. I don't know, but
and we were robbed of it. No.
So I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
I like this much better than I did the animated stuff, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm enjoying it. I like it more than The Mandalorian. I think I like it more than Kenobi.
Yeah.
Nothing will ever be Andor quality, but so yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Well, happy Star Trek Day, buddy.
You too.
Appreciate it as always.
Yep. This has been fun.
And everyone, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Follow us on all the stuff. Twitter, TikTok, and subscribe to us on YouTube. And until next time, live long and prosper.
And may the Force be with you.
See you. All right, man. Have a good weekend.
Take care, you too.
And I'll talk to you